Hanson Gress, Ka eat with the shuyi, we kashuk ayitin. Jin kat ka ke jin tak kanakaya ha anikak, ganish cheesh.
Salama, thank you, and welcome to Juneau Afternoon. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Today, the Juneau Arts and Humanities Council is hosting Mana, Alaska's new exhibits featuring stories of Juneau's Filipino elders, which opens this Friday with a special opening reception. We have updates from the Juneau Public Libraries and from the Juneau Douglas City Museum, who open their new exhibit, Critter Trek, this Friday as well. Those conversations are coming up later this hour on Juneau Afternoon from your community-supported public media station, KTOO. You can also catch us live on our live stream on KTOO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. But today, we begin with Where Did We Sit on the Bus? A production from Theater Alaska, which opens this Friday, May 1st, and runs through Sunday, May 17th. It's a one-person play and stars Enrique Bravo and is directed by artistic director Flordelino Lagandino, both of whom join me now in the studio. Cheese, gracias, salama po, welcome. How are you guys today?
Good.
Good to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. It's really wonderful. So to have you all here today. Enrique, I want to start with you. Where did we sit on the bus? What is this play?
I think it's a play that's very specific about Brian Quijada's life. It has a lot to do with race. A kid asks, where did we sit on the bus? After hearing the story of Rosa Parks, and the teacher really can't answer it. So I think it has a lot to do with where he finds himself. A lot of times, and this happened to me a little bit growing up too, a lot of times when we talk about race, it's either black or white. So when you sort of land in the middle, you wonder how you fit into this giant, world. So I think a lot of themes are explored within that, within the show. But I also think it has a lot to do about just being an artist, honestly. He very much is the first in his family to go to college, and he chooses theater and art, which as it's the same sort of thing happened to me. I was the first one in my family to go to college, and I also chose theater. And sometimes that's a scary thing when you feel like you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you're supposed to be the kid that brings home the money, and you're like, well, I'm going into theater. So, but
Good
yeah,
luck.
I think it establishes. I think it kind of explores those themes as well.
So does it start with him? Is he the boy that gets asked the question?
He is the boy in his third grade class. The question. He's the one that asked the question. Yes, after hearing a sort of it's Black History Month, and so the teacher, Mrs. Minnelli, decides to give a big backdrop of all the things that are covered during Black History Month, and then after all that ends, he asks, where do we fit?
It's so interesting because I do remember, learning about Rosa Parks and that that piece of history, but we don't really learn.
Yeah, I started for me, I started going back to my own specific history, like in Texas. I grew up in Texas, about 10 minutes away from the Mexican border, really close, and we have Texas history in high schools there that we would learn. And so much of that you think would be about Mexican history, because it's right there. Yeah. And I don't remember much Mexican history being discussed in our high schools.
Right.
And so it's very relatable for me, anyways.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So how is this? This is a one-person show. We mentioned that, and people in Juneau have seen you in so many things. And you were telling me just before we came on air, this is your first time doing a one-person show.
First time, yeah. And I waited till I have a 15-month-old.
You're really smart. You're like, honey and baby, I'm gonna go off and do this thing. Yeah.
He's like a great person to bounce lines off of.
Yeah.
Yeah. First time. I've definitely had shows where I am, carrying a big load, but this is the first time. And I've had these conversations with Flordelino. It's one of those shows where you gotta focus. If you lose focus at all, you just kind of like, where am I? You start swimming. And I mentioned to you as well, because I saw you in the Iliad and remember thinking like, what a huge undertaking to do a one-man show.
Yeah, you can't be thinking about like, what am I going to have for dinner
Right.
tonight while somebody else is doing their song or whatever. It's on you to keep going and keep the energy up and keep the connectivity.
There's no one you
tissue.
can sort of rely on to sort of, and that kind of happens in the show too. There's a little sort of scene where he has a little bit of that, like it's just me. But yeah.
That's
it's been
wild.
fun.
So it's your first time doing a one-person show. We'll get to the challenges of that in a second. But how is the story told? Because I've heard that there's some music in there, and there's some. Are you doing some singing? Are you doing some rapping or something? I heard.
You want to take it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yes. It starts out with Enrique Bravo rapping. There's also a lot of spoken word in it. Some of it. So Brian Quijada, when he wrote it, he's a musician. He also works with loops and things like that. We have a sound designer, Matt Otta, who's done a lot of our stuff. He's created the loops. He's created kind of like a sound design for it. He has a special program that actually will fit to Enrique's rhythm, different parts of the music. The loops will continue underneath Enrique's work. But yeah, it's a lot of music in the show. Again, a lot of spoken word and some rap.
And what is the sort of? I don't want to give away the ending or anything, but I want to see about like. What is the sort of trajectory? Like, does it go from when he was in third grade to being a man later in his life?
It actually even goes earlier than that, boss. It starts in the womb and goes all the way basically till he's living in New York, doing sort of his as a grown man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give away any either.
Yeah.
But there's
kind of starts. The framework starts as an older person, goes back in time to the time when he was born, and then
sort of goes through his whole life.
Okay.
But the one thing that I should mention about the show that I really appreciate is though there is spoken word and raps, the way he writes is also, it falls in a rhyming scheme, almost very kind of Shakespearean-esque, or like if you were to think of like the old restoration plays. And so I was really drawn to that a lot. So you have to fit this sort of life that he's sort of creating into this rhyme scheme. But sometimes it's great because it sort of helps motivate and move the story along. And it's a cool device that he's added into the show. It's not always like that. He'll talk prose sometimes, but a big majority of the show he's talking in a rhyme scheme.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. And where did you discover this play, or how did you guys decide to do this play here in Juneau?
Flordelino actually brought it to me. I don't know how he came across it, but I fell in love with it when I read it because it is even though it's somebody else's life, it was so relatable for me. So much of this guy's life is very parallel to what's happened to me in my life. I mean, it's crazy. Some of the things, he even talks about his siblings being, two of them having very like brown names, and the other two having very white names. And my name's Enrique Manuel. My brother's Marcos Antonio. My sisters are Jessica Denise and Siobhan Lizette. Siobhan spelled the Irish way.
That's doesn't
Which
make
is not.
any
My
sense.
mom got that from a soap opera.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
so
Are they younger sisters?
I have one younger sister.
Okay, interesting. That's so interesting because I was just like, in the naming of the children. When did that happen? It's kind of funny. That's wild. So where did you find the play?
So
Flordelino.
I met Brian Quijada when I was working in Southern California at La Jolla Playhouse. He was working on a workshop of another play, so I got to know him there. And then I just kept in touch with him and followed his trajectory as an artist, as a writer. And so I just, he did this show at Victory Gardens, and Che Yu was the director of that play, and he helped develop it. So I just kept in touch, and I heard about this play. They did it in New York. I wasn't able to see the production of it, but read the play and just thought it was it's just a great play.
Yeah.
It deals with so many issues, so many themes about what does it mean to be American? What does it mean to grow up wanting to do theater when your parents want you to do something different?
Yeah.
which I think all theater artists or artists kind of go through most of the time, if their parents aren't in it. So I just, I thought this would be a really wonderful play to share with this community. Obviously, it's a great fit, I think, for Enrique Bravo, but also it's a great fit for people to understand this perspective of American society.
Oh, that's fantastic. So the challenges of a one-person show, Enrique, what have you come across in terms of maybe the challenges and the opportunities? Like, what do you see in this as an adventure for yourself as an actor?
Well, the challenges are definitely some exhaustion.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I mean,
The 15-month-old doesn't help.
No. Well, I think the first time we started sort of getting bigger chunks and doing the show, I'm just like, I am exhausted. So I've had to build an endurance, and I think that's helped within the past week. We've been running in a lot more, and so I've kind of found where I have a chance to breathe and can sort of get some water, and so that part. But honestly, I think the thing that I've appreciated before is just like I've been very fortunate a lot of times. Like you mentioned, I've done a lot of theater here in Juneau, but I haven't been able to tell sort of my story or the stories of, I guess, my people very much. It's been very limited. So I think that's the thing that it's very near and dear to me to kind of tell some of these stories that he's telling, because I feel like it's part of my life, So in that regard, it's pretty personal to me.
That's really cool. What about as a director, Flirtle, in terms of, directing a one-person show? I know when I was doing them, I just wanted the director to kind of let me figure it out, not tell me too much right away. But and you've got a strong actor here in Enrique. So what do you do as a director on a one-person show?
Well, I think that's really what I've done a lot of the times. I've been kind of following what Enrique has been needing. For example, one of the great things is he came completely off book for the show, so that immediately we're able to work scenes of it. Okay, what does it mean to rap? Okay, we're going to do this rap section. Let's take this part of the play. What is the event of this scene? But we're able to work very quickly because of that. So in the first week we ran the show right at the end of the week. In the second week we ran it maybe 2 or 3 times. So we're able to do that because of Enrique's preparedness, I think, for the show. And then, like, for example, with rap, Arias Hoyle came in and worked on the
really
show.
helpful.
I was like, okay, I kind of like let Enrique. I was like, oh, Enrique, why don't you try learning this rap?
No, that was a fun rehearsal. I'm just like, so you just think I can rap out of nowhere?
Rap?
I was like, it's like, that's one of the things some people will try it, and and he did, but it was
I failed.
It was he failed, but Arias has really been really great.
I mean, it's like it's just like musicals, I'm not going in there like thinking like I'm gonna come up with a song.
Right.
So once Arias sort of kicked the door open, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I can do with this music, and he was really, really helpful. Yeah, props to him.
That's really cool. You're listening to Juneau Afternoon. We're talking about Where Did We Sit on the Bus, a new play from Theater Alaska, which opens this Friday. Let's go ahead and talk about the details, Flor-de-Lino. It opens Friday. Theater Alaska, known for performing in and around the community. And this is this kicking off the summer festival?
It isn't. We haven't. The next play, the Romance of Magna Rubia, will do that.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about the dates for this one and where you might be all performing this and all the good details.
Yeah, we have pay-as-you-want performances at various locations. This whole weekend is going to be at McFeeters Hall, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And tickets you can buy at theateralaska.org. And then next week we're at Northern Light Church. And then the final week we're going to be at Spice Cafe on the Friday. But we also have community performances which are free, completely free, at Douglas Library on the 10th, University of Alaska Egan Library on the 16th, and then at Mendenhall Valley Public Library at the 17th. So we have a mixture of pay-as-you-want ticketed performances and completely free performances.
And the free ones you can still donate if you want, though.
You can still donate if you want to.
You're not going to turn away any money.
I'm not going to turn away anything.
Because the thing about, artists get paid. Everybody gets paid on your productions. And speaking of other people, let's shout out, I know it's a solo show. There's only one actor, one director, but there's a ton of people. You already mentioned Matt Otto. You mentioned Air Jazz helping you out, consulting on the rap. Who Who else
Yeah.
you got on this production?
Haley Duran did the choreography. Megan Wright is the stage manager. We have a really wonderful voice and text person that we've not in town, but he's a person I've worked with a lot. Tom Jones, he's did the voice and text work, and then Matt Otto is the composer and sound designer who's worked with us a lot. And then Annalyn Dauber, who did costumes and set for the Scottish play. She did the costume set and properties.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So what do you, Enrique, what do you hope that you might, what is the idea that the audience should come away with this play?
Ooh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do about how, times have been rough, Boston, and I think this show sort of offers a lot of hope, and that might be a little on the nose, and you'll see why later. But it kind of just, it really has been. Really, for me, I get a lot out of doing the show, especially once we get kind of are finishing it up, because it's a very hopeful show. I've now sort of made it a little bit of a love letter to my boy, because it sort of asks people to sort of just be better human beings, and I think we could all use that right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great answer. And Flordelino, we mentioned real quick that you do have the Alaska Theater Festival coming up this summer. This is going to be like the fifth summer.
I think so, yeah.
Something like that.
I think
It's
the
been
sixth
going for a
summer,
while.
yeah.
So just preview that for us quickly. What do you got coming up this summer?
Well, we're doing a play called The Romance of Magno Rubio. It's about 5 Filipinos living in California. One of them falls in love with this pen pal in Arkansas. And so it's about, the Filipino-American experience. Funny enough, it has a lot of poetry in it as well. It's similarly, it has a lot of rhyme scheme in it. Really entertaining show that I saw over 10 years ago in New York City. And then Cry It Out is a play by Molly Smith Metzler about what's it mean to have what Enrique's experiencing right now, having a kid at the same time as trying to have a professional life. So it's dealing with that kind of issue. I kind of was very interested in it when I have Daryl as my daughter's now 9, but I first saw this show when she was like 2 years old. And so that was definitely on my mind. And I think people deal with that all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's Molly Smith Metzler, not Molly Smith, the founder of Perseverance Theater.
It's a different person.
Yeah, absolutely. But first up is Where Did We Sit on the Bus? It opens this Friday, and it stars Enrique Bravo, directed by Flordelino Lagandino. You can get more information and tickets for the pay-as-you-want performances at theateralaska.org.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Well,
issues.
Enrique rapping, I think that's already going to be entertaining.
Or the ticket price right there,
I know,
guys.
come on now. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a fun show. But
really
it has
is.
a lot of different issues in it. But I think there's like a
The
balance
humor
of
in
everything.
it's pretty
Yeah.
great as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. Go see Enrique in this play, everyone. Thanks for coming on Juneau Afternoon. Really appreciate it. Gun
Thank you.
Cheese for being here. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. We're going to hear a little bit of air jazz during this break, as he was the consultant for the rap on this production. This is Juneau Afternoon.
Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, providing Juneau with locally roasted coffee for over 40 years, with cafes and drive-through locations throughout Juneau. More at heritagecoffee.com.
That's a little air jazz with Taku Funk right here on Juneau Afternoon from your listener-supported public media station, KTOO. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. First Friday is once again upon us, and on May 1st, over at the JACC Gallery, the Juneau Arts and Humanities Council is presenting an exhibit from Mana, Alaska, a collective of Filipino-Alaskan storytellers. I'm joined in the studio now by Tasha Elizarde from Mana and Spencer Edgars from the Juneau Arts and Humanities Council to share more. Kenneth Cheese, Salamat Po, welcome in. Wasiyati, how are you today? Hi, Tasha.
Thank you. I'm good. Feels nice to be back in the studio.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you back in the studio. We used to do a little segment here on Juneau Afternoon with Tasha, all about food in Juneau, Filipino food specifically, here in Juneau. And then you've gone off and done all kinds of things after you left here. And so you work with Mana, and then you also are working for the city now. Is that right?
Yes. I work for the city as well. And speaking of food, we will be having food at our First Friday event by some of the folks that you may recognize from Chef's Halo Halo Talk from a couple of years ago. So definitely pull through, guys.
Yeah, pull through. And we're going to talk about Saturday, too. You have a cool thing happening on Saturday in addition. But let's start. Hi, Spence.
Hey.
Welcome in.
Thanks.
So let's start with, first, what is the show on Friday? Because this is really unique. It's really cool. This is like history of Juneau. Tell me a little bit about the show and the title and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So the show is called Tambayan at Kwentuhan, which translates from Tagalog to a place to hang out and share stories. Basically, our media collective, Mana, we came together a couple years ago to create an archive of oral histories about Filipino elders all across the state. Our first interview trip ever was actually here in Juneau. Now, I'm from Juneau, so I didn't have to travel anywhere, but, others in our squad came over. We met with a couple of elders. We interviewed, I think, almost 30 different elders in the course of 4 days because we were crazy. And a couple of those stories are making themselves, will be up on the walls at the JACC on Friday and through the entire month for the exhibit. And really, the purpose is to be able to share the stories that we heard in people's living rooms, special places, and other homes, places that were special to them, and really have those stories come to life. And for folks to be able to come there, connect with those stories that are on the walls, but also to be able to connect with one another. And so I'm really excited for the exhibit to come up, especially because Juneau is my hometown, so always happy to represent the many, many stories that are within our community.
So is this specifically Juneau Filipino elders? Okay, so I was
Yes.
curious, are there going to be other shows like this that you're going to do in different communities around Alaska as well?
Yes, well, sort of. So we started off 3 years ago. We put up an exhibit at the Anchorage Museum, which was kind of the kickoff of this series of stories that we produced specifically on Filipino elders. And then we also did another story down in Ketchikan at the Diaz Cafe. That one was a little bit different. It wasn't like a collection of elder stories, but rather one that just focused on Diaz Cafe and Lola Clara, who is the woman behind that cafe, and they transferred ownership now at this point, but we did a bit of a history there. So yes, our intention is to keep going with producing more oral histories, whether it's through our website, which has turned into a digital archive, or through different exhibits around the state.
Yeah, and you mentioned that if people, I think in the notes I saw that there will be a digital exhibit available at manaalaska.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so you can check that out if you're not in Juneau or if you can't make it, but you should be able to make it. It's running for a whole month over there at the JACC Gallery. So if you can't make it this Friday, though, and get some good food. And then you can go see the show anytime this month over at the JACC Gallery. So you also are going to be doing a cool event on Saturday, your Mana's approach to storytelling. So that's a really interesting workshop. So tell me a little bit about this. This is going to be from 12 to 2 on Saturday, again, in the JACC Gallery.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one too. One of my co-founders, Pearl Grace, she will be coming in from Anchorage, and she's actually from Juneau, but now lives in Anchorage. But she'll be coming down and doing a workshop that anyone is invited to come to. It's an opportunity to learn more about how Mana approaches our storytelling process, and she will be doing some portrait taking, some interviewing each other, and of course there will be food. It's not a Filipino event without food,
Right.
and so we will be having just a good time being able to connect more in depth with each other in that event.
That's really cool. And I do want to mention that when Tasha was working here at KTOO, she produced a award-winning series sort of about Filipino history in Juneau. So if you want more background, you can always go back and check out that podcast. It's called Magakwento, and that is available on KTO's website. Just go under podcast tab, and you'll find that. Or you can just put it into your favorite, podcast catcher of choice or whatever they call it. And you can find that podcast. It's it's 5 episodes, I believe, and it covers sort of the history. But then what I love is if you would listen to that and then you come to this event or see this show, and then it gets into very specific stories from specific elders here in Juneau. I'm just curious, Tasha, like when you were hearing these oral histories and such, what did you take away from it? What is it that you found by talking to these elders?
Yeah, I love that question just because I think that, especially in that interview trip, it was extra special for me because Juneau is my hometown. But going into a lot of those living rooms, kitchens, like wherever else I was meeting with these elders, I was always surprised by just the diversity within our community, not just within the Filipino community, but just in general. There's just so many stories that you would not expect. We go from one of the stories that I really love from this particular exhibit that we curated is an elder that we got to interview not only a couple months before he passed away, and he was the first Filipino judge in the state of Alaska. He was also our first and only state coroner. And so he talked about, when we met him, just how he got to where he was. And just, he's such a unique person. He would constantly go on all these different side missions that you would not expect of him, and was really much kind of like a tried and true Alaskan in a lot of ways. And so, we have stories like that to stories like another one that I really love is that I don't want to spoil too much because y'all should come to the exhibit. But there's a nice story about 2 people who met and fell in love through love letters. And right before, they had never met in person and only had written each other and decided to get married. And now they're, living here in Juneau, have a whole family, have a really well-established family. And so, again, it's just, there's so much diversity and so much humanity within these stories that it's just whether you're a Filipino or not, or whether you're from Juneau or not, I think that coming to the exhibit is a good time to just connect with other people. Even if you're not physically connecting with them, you get to connect with the memories that they have.
Well, and it's so valuable, too, what you mentioned about being able having the opportunity to talk to that gentleman, a few months before he passed, getting the oral history, getting it recorded, getting it down so that memory can live on and people can learn and see our past.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really valuable because it can disappear in an instant,
Yeah.
So that's really valuable. That exhibit is opening this Friday at the JACC. There's going to be a reception from 4 to 7. There will be food. And
lots of food, y'all.
Is it
lumpia.
kakanin?
Yes,
Kakanin.
So that's different rice-based desserts. It's usually it's kind of pastry-like. I don't know if anyone knows what puto is or suman, but suman's like a sticky rice in bamboo leaf. Puto is I don't know how to describe it. It's fluffy like a muffin, but it's not a muffin. It looks like a muffin, but it's white. I don't know.
It's
really
own
good.
thing.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's very much Filipino.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then, of course, the storytelling workshop on Saturday from 12 to 2 is also at the JACC. You'll get to learn about Mana's approach to storytelling. So, Spencer, before we go, I want to quickly get to you. Is there anything else going on? I know you've got submissions coming up for the JACC Gallery.
Yeah. So we currently have submissions open. If you're an artist, if you're an organization who wants to host an exhibit in one of our 2 galleries, our submissions are open until May 15th. And so you can find more information on our website.
And is this is for not next year, this is for the year. Is this for next year?
This is for 2026, 2027. So starting in October.
Starting in October.
Yeah.
I get confused because some places they do it like 2 years in advance. And
Right.
So this is for next year, starting in the fall, October.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is for all artists?
Artists of all disciplines. We're very open to different things, and it's also open to artists outside of Juneau. So we're hoping to get some folks from surrounding communities, and we occasionally have artists from Anchorage and other places. And we also have another exhibit opening this Friday in the Davis Gallery at Centennial Hall, and that is an exhibit called Dizzy Hooligan. It's the artist is Kayana Fonua, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's coming down from Anchorage. And this is she's a Tongan artist, and this is a mixed media exhibit that'll be open through June.
Over at the Davis Gallery.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you can find everything about what's going on at the JACC at jacc.org. You can find, actually, they keep a list of everything happening for First Friday over there. There's a First Friday tab. Just click on that. It'll show you not only what's going on at the JACC, at the gallery, and at the Davis Gallery, but all around town for First Friday. Really appreciate it. It's nice to see you again, Tasha.
You too.
It looks like you've been working hard on things, which is really cool. And Spencer, so glad to have you back again. Thank you so much. Gwyneth Cheech, go to jhc.org for more information.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. We're going to hear a little bit more of air jazz, because why not? This is Juneau Afternoon. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Emil Mackey at Country Financial, offering insurance for home, auto, and business, and life insurance to protect your family in case of death. Located in the Juneau Nugget Mall. More information can be found online or by calling 907-500-7017. Yeah, that's a little air jazz here on Juneau Afternoon from Studio 2K at KTOO. I'm Boston Christopher. Time for an update from the Juneau Public Libraries. I've got Elizabeth Peisel Davis now in the studio with me. Cheese, welcome in. Wasiati, how are you today?
I'm really well, thanks.
Okay, so you are representing the Juneau Public Libraries. Marketing is not normally your job, I don't think.
Nope, not normally. I am on the outreach and adult programs team.
I see. Okay, but you're filling in. If you are looking for a position, they might have one for you at the library,
right
right?
now the marketing position is open.
Oh,
Marketing
well.
and grants writing.
Marketing and grants writing. So you can find that, I'm sure, on juneau.org/library, and you can get all the details maybe. Or it's on the Juneau, probably the website for
CBJ website.
jobs for CBJ. That's cool. So you've got some cool stuff, though, coming up.
Right.
Like, you've got some things that are really fun. I want to talk first about summer reading because that's a summer-long program, and there's a new edition this year.
Right. Well, our theme this year is plant a seed and read.
Oh, okay.
And so everything is vaguely related to plants and planting. So I know that lots of people are shoveling off the snow from their outside garden beds and getting ready for planting, and so are we at the library. This year we have a lot of events going on for kids and families, and we have the summer reading game cards for kids and families, but we've also added a robust program for adults.
Ooh, okay. So tell me
Right.
about that.
So just like when you were a kid and you went to the library and you filled in your little card every time you read and then you got a free book, we have special prizes just for the adults. And we also have a bunch of programs that are just for adults, like different workshops and tours of places around town, and all, again, on that theme of plant a seed, read.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be going from like sort of the middle of May. Does it start pretty soon? It starts in May, right?
May 22nd is our official start date.
And what do you do in the program? Do you keep track of the books that you read?
Right, yeah. So if you are a reader, you keep track of the books that you read and the reading-related activities that you do, and you fill in your little game card, and then you turn it in at the library, and when you turn it in, you get a prize. And your game card goes in the big basket. And at the end of the summer, we draw out some of those names, and they get the big grand prize.
Oh, and what's the big grand prize?
Well, for the adults, it'll be a gift certificate to a local business of your choice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for the kids, I think it's typically a mixed basket of fun.
I like that. That could be anything. I love that. A mixed basket of fun. You know what I love? It would be so funny if you open that basket up and it's empty, and then you say, you make your own fun.
That'd be great.
Get outside. Go make your own fun. Okay, anyway. So you also, this Saturday, you have an event.
Next Saturday.
Oh, next Saturday.
The 15th.
Oh, the 15th.
Well, it's Friday the 15th. Wait, what?
I have something that says Saturday. Well, that can't. That already passed. Never
Sorry.
mind.
No, that's
Last
all right.
Saturday, you had a library fundraiser. I was
Oh,
looking
we
at this.
did, and
thinking,
it went really well. Thank you,
Okay, good.
Juneau, Goonish Cheese.
Yeah, okay. So that was last weekend. But Friday, May 15th, we have something called Bike Day, and it's biking to the library. Tell me a little bit about that.
Exactly. This is our second year to do Bike to the Library, so we just encourage everybody to put on their helmet and bike to the library, and it's the Valley Library. We'll have some big games outside and giveaways and snacks. Salty the sea otter will be there, so you can get your picture taken with Salty.
Ooh, nice.
And you can also sign up for summer reading.
Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, do people? Are there enough places to put your bike at the library out there? Like, do
Yeah.
you lock it up and all that?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Yeah, so you could bike to the library anytime.
Anytime.
But this is a big event of biking to the library. Like, get your family together, get the kiddos out, right? Bike
Right.
to the library, make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And is there bike-related themes on the day? Like, is there...
Well, we will have some cool giveaways that are all bike related.
I see. Okay. Yeah. The library's so good at this stuff. It's pretty amazing how you all make this happen. You have so many things going on.
And then you also have a cool magic show that's coming up at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, this is the second time Jeff Evans has come up. So this is part of our summer reading program for families. And he's coming up and he'll be doing a free magic show at the Valley Library on Sunday, May 24th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Free.
Like everything at the library is free.
You also have a really cool calendar that you can. So if you get lost in this conversation, there's a lot going on at the library. You can just go to the
Right.
library calendar, right?
Right. So go to our website, and up in the banner, there's one that says, like what's happening at the library, and click down till you find the library calendar, and all the events are listed there with the registration codes if there's registration, or just tells you more about the event. But everything at the library is always free because we are a public service.
I think that's so fantastic. I love it. Summer reading. You got any summer reading on your list? What do you got? Do you like the beach reads, or what are you planning on reading?
Oh, no, I've got some big reads on my list. I'm going to dive back into some of my classics that I circle around to every 10 years or so. I think I'm going to do Watership Down this year.
Oh, I did that as a kid. I haven't read that since.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's so fun. I'm always curious, like if, when you have recommendations from the library on what to read. Do you still do, do you guys all have, the staff recommendations and stuff?
We
You have,
don't have that. I was thinking about bringing that back as part of a display.
I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, we always have displays at all three of our libraries on different themes. So right now we have the AAPI display going up. We have a library display, like books about libraries. Did you know that there are an awful lot of murder mysteries that happen in libraries?
It's great because you can get lost in the aisles, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You try to hide the body, I guess. And I want to mention one more thing before we go here, Elizabeth, is that you have something on the 21st, right? Willing Workers on Organic Farms.
Yes, this is our adult kind of kickoff program for summer reading. So Nels Olson and Rick Bellog, who they have a farm out on Shelter Island.
Oh, cool.
That is part of the woofing, group, but they have also been woofers, and so they are going to come and talk about their experience as traveling around the world working on organic farms, and then also their experience being hosts and having people from all over come here and work on their farm.
Oh, that's great. And that's that's on May 21st, which is the day before the summer reading program kicks off officially.
Exactly.
And you can check that out at 5:30 p.m. out at the Valley Library. And there's so much else going on this summer. We'll have to have you back. Of course, we'll see what's previewing. I know there's going to be movies going on. There's going to be all kinds of things going on. But we'll have you back next month, and we'll preview what's going on for June. And what a great thing to have you all on and talk about today, Elizabeth. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us. Was there anything else that I missed? I want to make sure we got it.
I think so. I think we got it all. There's a lot going on at the library. Just keep looking at our website and our social media.
Yeah, just go to juneau.org/library.
Exactly.
I appreciate Elizabeth Gunnichis for being here. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Tongass Federal Credit Union, a member-owned financial cooperative offering checking and savings accounts, loans, and digital financial services. In Juneau at 8585 Old Dairy Road in the K Plaza and at tongassfcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
That's Air Jazz with Wolves Have Spirits, talking a little bit about Romeo, as well as other animals. And speaking of animals, there's a new show going to be opening up at the Juneau Douglas City Museum this Friday. I've got Kate Ross from the museum now here on Juneau Afternoon from KTOO to talk a little bit about this first Friday goodness. Gwyneth Cheesh, Kate, Wasiati, welcome back.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, good. You know, it's raining, but it's not 35 degrees and raining. It's like 45 degrees and raining, so I'll take it.
That's a little bit better. So we have a few things to talk about, but let's first talk about this exhibit that's opening this Friday. This is going to be the summer-long exhibit.
Yes.
Okay.
Critter Trek.
Critter Trek, tell me.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. Our curator, Dara, has pulled a bunch of art from our collection. So these are pieces that are very rarely shown. They have been collected. We are preserving them as a place that preserves history and art and culture.
And that's important.
Which is very important. And so we're really excited to have these pieces of art on display. We have some familiar names. We have a piece from Riemann Yos, a Dale DeArmond print, just a lot of really cool pieces. But they are centered around 5 different animals that make Juneau and the surrounding area their home, as well as the idea of movement of these animals, both within Juneau and to and from Juneau.
All right, so what are the animals?
So we have eagles, first off, which they do tend to have like a nest that they will keep for years upon years. But when they're younger, they kind of migrate from town to town, or they do a little more exploration to find where they want to settle down. So that's eagles. We have bears, and their movement is kind of up into the mountains to hibernate in the winter, and then they usually come down farther to streams and areas where there is food, even places where there should not be food for them, like trash cans.
Yeah, we're back in that time of year.
We're back in that
sure.
time of year.
Can't put our trash out overnight anymore.
No, sir. You gotta lock it up.
Yeah.
And then we have whales, which of course have this huge long journey that they go on.
Oh, man.
Thousands and thousands of miles. And one of the things that we're highlighting in that aspect of it is Flame. Are you familiar with Flame,
No.
the whale? Flame is a female whale, humpback whale, who has been making Juneau her home for, I think it's close to 20 years, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so whales are identified by the unique pattern on their flukes.
Okay.
And Flame has brought, I believe it's 9 or 10 calves up here.
Oh, wow.
In the summers. And so she's a super mom, and she's been coming back year after year, and they've been able to track her movements from Juneau to Hawaii and back for years on end.
How do they track it?
They put a little tracker on the whale.
Oh,
No, I'm just
wow.
kidding.
No,
on some of the whales. No,
I
not on
guess
the.
they
No,
can't,
they
right?
because they no
I
because
know
they
do
have
that
the
with some animals.
no,
but-
no, for the whales, because they have that identifying fluke pattern,
Yeah.
they're able to take pictures. And so there's a lot of whale watching boats in Juneau. There's a lot of whale watching boats in Hawaii, and a lot of them have naturalists on board. So they'll take pictures of the
I was
whales,
like
and
they
can
tag it, no. they
no,
don't
yeah,
tag
with
it.
a spear gun
like
and
on
a,
the ears they do for some
Right,
animals. Yeah.
right.
No, but that's really interesting to think that they could use underground, underwater photography or whatever and track that migration pattern. And
Yeah, so you can see there's some really cool websites. We have some information in the exhibit about some of the websites you can go to where you can see pictures that people have taken of the flukes as they're diving down and everything, and see where these whales have gone.
that's cool. So it's local artists, and
Mm-hmm.
is it like a mixture? You said you have like different kinds of art. There's like photos
Yeah.
and then other things.
Yeah,
too?
different kinds of art. There's some photography, there's painting, woodblock print like the Dale DeArmond.
Okay.
There's a Ray Troll poster that he had made at one point. And there's also a sculpture, which is really cool. There's a sculpture of a whale. But yeah, we have some cool, I think there's I believe it's pen. It's either pen or ink, like drawing of some of the salmon. So that's the next animal is salmon, because we know they do their return to their spawning grounds. And then Arctic terns,
Oh,
which
yeah.
a lot of people forget about, but they do these incredible migratory journeys and have a nesting colony by the glacier here.
That's so cool. And some of these are pieces that haven't been exhibited before, right?
Yeah, I think most of them have not been exhibited or not in a very long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool, very different styles of art to see.
Well, it's really cool too because as a summer program, this is a great opportunity for
folks to bring their visitors or friends who come to town to the City Museum and say, hey, here's what's going on in Juneau. You can see the stuff that because when you go out in the wild, sometimes you don't get to see the bear. You don't get to see
Right.
you hopefully, if you pay for like the whale trip, you go and see some whale stuff. But it's nice to see other animals that maybe you don't get actually to see while you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of cool. So now that brings us to sort of summer hours, right? I know in the winter you have funders and supporters who make the museum free for locals. But now are we past that now? Where are we at?
Starting next week, so starting on Monday, we will move to summer hours and paid admission. So these next few days are the last days you can come for free. We will be open later on Friday for our first Friday opening reception until 7 o'clock. But yeah, starting next week on Monday, it will be paid admission. You can always buy a museum pass if you're someone that thinks you're going to come to the museum a lot or bring people with you. But yeah, so we will move to 7 days a week. The hours are TBD, where we always extend them a little bit from what we do in the winter, but we'll be open 7 days a week and paid admission starting on Monday.
Okay, that sounds great. And then you also have some other activities that are coming up. You have, the Marie Darlin Prize,
Yes.
which is an awesome $5,000 unrestricted gift for someone who has done awesome things. Tell me a little bit about that, and I think you might be moving the deadline a little bit.
Yeah. So it's open to a lot of different types of people. And a new change last year was that you don't have to be nominated. You can actually apply yourself. So if you're thinking about doing it, you can nominate someone else, but you can also just apply for yourself. It's a $5,000 prize. It's not even a grant. You don't have to do grant reporting. But last year's winner was, or this most recent year was Mr. Shaw, the violin teacher, which is incredible. We've had Scott Burton, Lily Hope, Ernestine Hayes, and Maureen Longworth. So you can see kind of from those names the breadth of different types of art and community engagement. But the announcement is that deadline for those applications has been extended to June 9th. So instead of June 1st, not June 9th, June 1st instead of May 1st. So instead of needing to get it in the next 2 days, you have another month.
Where did the 9th come from
I
in
don't
your
know.
brain?
June 9th. I have got a friend whose birthday is June 9th. We've got all kinds of dates happening. June 8th is another,
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So it's extended to June 1st. Okay.
Yes.
That's great. And then lastly, I just want to make sure that we also mention that you have the walking tours that are going to be kicking off. You've got Ed and Betsy doing their tours. You've got the geological tours. Tell me a little bit about those tours.
We do. Yeah, we love walking tour season. It's so much fun to see all the specialty tours. We usually get a lot of locals or people visiting. We have the historic downtown walking tours as well. The first true crime one with Ed and Betsy is this Saturday, May 2nd, the Capitol Killers walking tour. We have a downtown geology tour May 23rd. And then starting May 19th, we'll have those historic downtown walking tours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wow. Yeah. Every week?
Every week we have the historic downtown walking tours.
I can learn all about the history of Juneau.
You sure can.
And the geological. Well, I guess it's the historic downtown.
The downtown one is the one that's a few times a week, but it's led by different volunteers that all have different types of connections to Juneau and different histories. They tend to be retired people that have lived here for a very long time, so they have a lot of really, really interesting perspectives on downtown Juneau.
That's fantastic. Get out, support your local Juneau Douglas City Museum. You can find everything that we just talked about at juneau.org/museum. And again, it's First Friday, Critter Trek. You guys are having a reception. What time is the reception on Friday?
4:30 to 7 on First Friday, May 1st. May Day.
4:30 to 7 this Friday, May 1st. First Friday for everybody. I'm Kate Ross from the Juneau Douglas City Museum. Thanks for joining me today.
Ganesh Cheesh.
Ganesh Cheesh.
That will do it for today's Juneau Afternoon. We are Wednesday through Friday at 3 p.m. right here on KTO Juneau 104.3 and KAUK Juneau Akbe 91.7. Hello, out the road. You can find the show online at kto.org/Juneau Afternoon, where you can listen to episodes, subscribe to the podcast, offer feedback or suggestions, or find out how to be a guest on the show. You can also find live stream archives over on KTO's YouTube page. Our theme music is by Indian Agent. Programming support for Juneau Afternoon comes from listeners and viewers like you, and Country Financial, Hanson Grass, Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, and Tongass Federal Credit Union. I'm Boston Christopher, producer and host of the program, with help today from Aaron Tripp. Gunath Cheesh. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone.